It is day one on the Variante Espiritual, the day that I have been looking forward to since day one on the Camino Portuguese. Actually, let's backtrack a little bit. When I was planning to do this trip, everybody kept telling me you have to do the Variante Espiritual. And I gotta tell you, it was not disappointing at all. What's so great about it? Well, the views were just amazing. You get to walk by the sea. You walk for 3 days, or you can take a boat on the third day, which is what I did. There's a whole history behind it, and let me tell you about it. It was the year 44 AD, and St. James, Santiago, returned to Jerusalem after spending a few years in what is now known as Spain, preaching, and while he was there, he got decapitated. Now, a few Spaniards, disciples that followed him, stole his body and took it back to Spain. It is said that the angels guided them. They were actually riding on a stone boat, which is kind of odd. But anyways, they followed the stars and they made it to Santiago. They made it to the river Ulla, the mouth of the river Ulla, which is where we're going to take our boat ride all the way to Padrón, where they stopped, where we're going to visit the stone marker where they tied the boat when they got there. And everything starts today. So here it is. This is Spain, Portugal. These are all the caminos that you can do. There are plenty of choices. I always thought the Camino de Santiago was just one, the Camino Frances. But as it turns out, there are plenty of paths that you can take. I've done 5 so far. I did the Camino Frances in 2017, followed by the Via Francigena in 2018. And last year, 2019, I did 3 caminos back to back, the Camino Portuguese, del Norte, the Ingles, and then I walked from Muxia to Fisterra. So here we are. This is Portugal. You got 3 different choices. That the most popular choices that most pilgrims do is starting in either Faro or Lisbon. Lisbon is the St. John Pied de Port of the Camino Portuguese. I decided to start all the way up here in Porto because I had, like I said, 3 caminos to do. I had a leg injury and I wanted to take it easy. Not only that, instead of doing the central route, which is the most popular one, I decided to do the coastal route. And on top of that, I did the Litoral path, which is the one that stays as close as possible to the beach. I had amazing weather, so that was great. Half of the trip is in Portugal. The other half of the trip is in Galicia in Spain. The coastal Camino ends in Redondela. That's where the 2 caminos merge. That's where you see a surge of pilgrims. Yesterday's stage was from Redondela to Pontevedra, and here is where I detour from the central Camino, and I go into the Variante Espiritual, as you see right here. It's supposed to take 3 days. You can do it in 2, because the third day you take a boat. You're in no time. You're in Padrón, so you kind of start from Padrón to Santiago, as most pilgrims do. Did not know this at the time, and Ramona and Niels didn't do the Variante because they had a flight to take. They decided to go the central route. We actually met in Santiago in the square on the third day. So here it is. Here's the stage, and as I said before, we're gonna be climbing. This is the stage. Pretty much start out flat, go over this hill over here before going back down into the ocean, and then the final climb, which is about 7 kilometers long of just going up through eucalyptus forest, exposed sometimes to the sun. It got pretty warm compared to the other days past, and everything starts today, bright and early at 7 a.m. I woke up at the private albergue after a heavy night of drinking. And we left the hostel. I spoke with a few pilgrims there, with Tim. None of them knew about the Variante Espiritual, which was kind of odd. Most of the people that I talked to had no idea that it even existed. There were pamphlets in a few albergues that I saw. And I thought for a second that I was going to have it all to myself. But as it turns out, there were about 10 or 15 other pilgrims that I came across as I walked on today's stage. This is the bridge that we crossed that I told you about, that it was nice and pristine. Now it's, I think, under renovation, or it might be done by the time that you walk the Camino. Very nice, as the other ones that you see here. I got some drone shots yesterday of this whole area. We walked together all the way to the split on the road, which is not far up ahead. By the time we got to this rest stop with a water fountain from 1992, it was 8:15, so we're walking for about an hour. Walked next to the highway, saw some interesting mural and graffiti. And yeah, then we got to the split on the road, A25. Here, if you make a left turn, you go to the Variante Espiritual, which is the whole thing is 100 kilometers long. Today's stage is 24 kilometers, and if you go right, you follow the Camino Portuguese, the central route. Said my goodbyes to Ramona and Niels, and on I went. This is also when the climbing started. Thought it was gonna be pretty easy, but no, for a little bit there going, I think it was after the highway here, this whole section, it got hairy, man. But I made it in stride. Started seeing a bunch of cruceros, those little symbols for the Variante Espiritual. So farmers working their fields here, the farm life, climbing. I started seeing all the pilgrims along the way, which caught me by surprise. And here at 9:15, got to Iglesia de San Pedro de Campaño. There were pilgrims here resting. Other ones were walking ahead of me. Here you got your first hotel if you want to stay. If you want to, I guess this is too early in the morning to stop, but maybe, I don't know, if you stay halfway, who knows. You got options, man. That's what's important here. So yeah, continue walking until I got to this great monastery, man. This is another place where you can stay. I tried going in, but the doors were closed. I saw a bus here with tourists coming out. There was a crucero here and a statue. It was 10 a.m. I hang around here, this little area, for a little bit, thinking, what should I do? Should I fly the drone from this spot? Which I did, and I actually did it from like down here. If you want to know how I go about the drone, I don't like to take off right next to the area where I'm filming. I'd rather just scope the place out, plan the flight path, and then walk about 1 kilometer away, and then come back with the drone, get my shots, come back, get it, and on I go. I think there was like a bar around here in this corner, yes. Walked down the street and made my way down to this area over here where they have one of those places where people wash their clothes, and I did a little bit of stretching, I think, just getting ready for what was coming up ahead. From here, here's a perfect example. When I got to this place, up here up front, there's a field here, and you got two options. You can go by the water's edge, by this park, Parque de Saca, or you can just follow the Camino, which goes around. You have both options, but how do you know that unless you can get a bird's eye view from like a map, like from here? I could be standing right here. I started going in that direction and decided to go back around it, and made my way by the road to the town of Combarro. And this was a very memorable fishing village. The tide was low, the water had receded, the beach was completely exposed, there was algae, all the boats were just on their side. Some of them you can tell that they've been there for a long time because they were completely covered by the sea life, by shellfish. And also here, this beach is very famous because it has a bunch of horreros here, all facing the water's edge. So made my way down, got a couple of shots with the drones. By the way, look, you can see the boats there. And here in this corner, I decided to get something to eat. It was 11 o'clock already. I knew this was going to be like the last major town before going over the mountain to the other side. So I was going to get there around 3 p.m. So might as well just get lunch here in this restaurant that was full of tourists here. No pilgrim menu, so I opted to go instead for some tapas. You know, the guy even offered me some pulpo, but it was too much. Didn't have anything to drink alcohol-wise because I wanted to take it easy today. And then I also got a stamp here. So after having lunch there, after spending about an hour, decided to head out and cut right through the village. All this is just full of stores and stands. There's even a crucero here with some water, a water fountain. Cross here the streets. And here you can tell that I went in the wrong direction. And this is another perfect example of why this is so useful. I was actually vlogging from here. I wanted to get a shot of the bay behind me, and then after I finished vlogging, I had to check to see where I was. Had I not had the GPS tracks, I would have kept walking in this direction and probably made it back down here. Look how much ground I would have lost. I probably would have had to go this way. So I backtrack, and right here, as I made my way to this Cruzeiro, that's where I saw Dino for the first time. He's a pilgrim, very peculiar guy that I'm gonna walk with for the next couple of days. He kept walking. I just saw him. Buen Camino, you know how it is. And then here's where the climb starts. Let me show you. As you can see, we're at 30 meters of elevation, and we're gonna go all the way up to 421. There it is, out in the countryside, a few small villages. You're not gonna find anything to eat in this stretch. There were a few water fountains that I did see, and I refilled my water bottle at one point. So yeah, started going up and up and up. I saw a dead snake that caught me by surprise. Now, guys, I'm not really scared of snakes unless they're poisonous, but every time I see them, it just catches me by surprise. So I always make a point of showing it, and it adds some drama to the vlog, if only just a little bit. So this is where I said that I got some water. It was already noon. Right next to the Cruzeiro, there was a water fountain. And as I was drinking water, I saw Dino up ahead. He was stretching. He was checking me out. He was like trying to see what I was doing. And at one point here, he stopped. He waited for me, and we started talking. He's a pilgrim from Switzerland. I think he has Italian descent. So I told him about the Via Francigena and how much of an awesome time I had when I was there. He's also diabetic. Yeah, he had about 3 kilos or 6 pounds worth of gear just to keep it under control. He had sensors all over the place. At one point, one thing, his alarm started going off, and he had to drink like half a soda, half a Coke. He gave me the rest. So we spent the whole time just talking about vlogging and, you know, all the trips that I had done, what he was doing as well. Made it here to this mirador, this viewpoint, where you get amazing views. Look, you get amazing views of the bay below. You can see the river. You can see where you started the day. And the last time you're going to see the sea for today. So kept walking, kept climbing, because this is not the end of the climb. The sun was kicking already. It was very warm. Started seeing all the pilgrims that were having a tougher time than us, making their way up. You know, you just gotta put one foot in front of the other and do it at your own pace. You know, if you push yourself, you're just gonna get injured, and that's not fun. So just, you know, you have the rest of the day to make it, and you're almost there. You got about 10 kilometers left to go. Today, planning the stage, I saw this. There's like a archaeological site here where they have some rocks with some carvings. I did not see any sign when I was walking there. So now you know. And if you get the tracks as you're approaching it, you know where it is. You can go visit it. From here, it's all the way down to the town. Got to this bar at 2 p.m. and here we decided to stop and just get a little snack. I got some aqua frizzante or sparkling water and some coffee. Dino, I think, had like a sandwich for lunch. And right next to it is this amazing monastery, Monasterio de Armenteira. Today, I also found out that I could stay here. That was a missed opportunity because it would have been amazing to stay in this place. Instead, I stay at the municipal albergue all the way out here, away from all the action. And I had to come back here for dinner. There are 2 places here. They have this bar and a restaurant on this side over here. They both offer tapas for dinner, but I think this one, the hospitalero told me that they actually had like a full menu. So I walked all the way to the albergue, which is all the way out here. The hospitalero showed up like around 6 p.m. So when I got there, I just fell back in the routine, washed my clothes, you know, hang it outside. It was so windy and hot that it actually dried, which is always great. It was full of pilgrims, about 10 pilgrims. Such a large albergue. There was plenty of space. We had like spaces in between us. From here, I got to fly the drone all the way back to town. Look, I flew from here to the monastery, got my shots, and then came back. I think I did it a couple of times because I was running low on battery. So I had to come back, switch batteries, went back over there, got some extra shots. And, you know, I was just passing the time. There was nothing else to do. Dino was all over the drone. We were just talking and seeing all the pilgrims showed up. And then the hospitalero came. I think it was like around 6 p.m. She told me about tomorrow's stage. I had questions about the boat ride. Where could I book it? Is there a place that I had to call? And she told me that the hospitalero in the next albergue, in the next municipal, will take care of all of that, which is what happened. So after that, 7 p.m., decided to head over to the bar, had something to eat, some dinner. And guys, that's it. That was day one on the Variante Espiritual. Amazing, highly recommended. And tomorrow, let me give you a little sneak peek. Right here, the Ruta de Piedra y Agua is just mind-blowing. You're following the river for a long section of the stage, and it feels like you're completely somewhere else. Amazing walk. Can't wait to show it to you guys. So I'll see you on the next video. Please, guys, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button. You guys know the drill already. And enjoy now that relief animation that you guys like so much. See you on the next one.